Only a 12th level intellect has the slightest hope of surviving what you are about to experience.
Trying to figure that out, like the whole movie, how like sound is traveling. How like any time that you hear Willem Dafoe speak, he takes like big like nose breaths while he's talking, so you like hear the air like whistle through his nose, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like,
well, they could breathe underwater.
Yeah, but I mean, wouldn't water just make like a blah, blah, blah noise instead? You know,
you would think the whole movie would have been like sounded like
there was a guy on the movie whose job it was to just edit every line of dialogue to where any breath has like a sound instead. That would it would be really distracting, but I would like that.
That'd be kind of that would have been cool. Well, missed opportunity. We don't have to know how they can talk underwater.
No, I'm glad that they didn't try to explain that, because they tried to explain like everything else ever in this movie. But we aren't talking about that yet. Welcome to the podcast. We're Ted is at his parents' house for Christmas, and so he forgot didn't bring his microphone.
I kept it minimal.
Yeah, so it sounds a little echoier than normal today, probably. I'm sorry, but who cares? Who are you again?
I'm Ted Kendrick,
okay.
And you're James Strecker, and this is the 13th level intellects. We've upgraded. We've upgraded since last year.
What episode number is this? Let's see. It's
33.
Yeah. Yes. Ooh. Yeah.
So we're 33rd level intellects this time.
That's so many of them. Well, let's talk news. I got a thing up about how Mattel is losing a bunch of licenses to their DC toys, and so their stock is plummeting. That's a pretty cool feature of the world right now. I don't know why they're losing Batman
toys.
Well, it's like they're retaining. The article I'm looking at says they're retaining preschool and girls toys, but everything else is like going to someone else, or they're just losing the rights to or something like that.
That's
so like all the Justice League action, all the that kind of like more like made for I don't know, normal action figures and stuff are not going to be produced by them anymore, I guess. Does that mean that they're just going to stop being produced at all? Does it mean they're...
I have very fond memories of Mattel's JLU action figure line. I didn't collect all of it, but I did get all of the original Justice League action figures before it went unlimited.
Yeah.
And those first few were pretty sweet.
I just have random ones from either Christmas presents, or I would see it at Fred Meyer or something like
or like a Comic-Con. They have like you can buy these JLU figures just like loose. At Comic-Cons for really cheap now. I have like a Blue Devil and Orion and Aquaman from that.
Yeah, my comic shop would have just random ones on shelves, and like
I've got a few on my desk.
Yeah,
I have Aztec and Orion on my desk with a custom figure of me as the Watchtower Database.
I was going to say, I'm looking at my custom James and my custom Son of Jarrell right now.
Nice.
That's all I have here.
Yeah, in Legacies issue number 2, there's a little cameo appearance with me and James as Watchtower Database workers. It's we're the two people who let King Faraday into the Watchtower Roundtable.
Yeah, we have very important jobs. On the Watchtower. We stand at the door.
We're the gatekeepers.
We talked about like what do we do when no one's entering or leaving the room? We're just like pressed up against the door listening to all the Justice League. Like,
that's right.
What cool things are they talking about? That's at legasiesdcau.com. What's your first news thing?
My news, there were some new trailers. I don't think we've talked about the new Avengers Endgame trailer.
Did not.
There's also a Hellboy trailer that came out.
Yes.
So those are the two I want to talk about. But Avengers, let's start with that.
Okay. It's very short and doesn't have a lot in it.
Yes, that's true. Iron Man's there at the beginning talking to his helmet. He's talking to Pepper Potts, kind of saying his last goodbyes. You get to see glimpses of like the remaining heroes who didn't disappear with Thanos' snap.
Well, he's like he's doing the 300 like corn stalk stroking
Thanos
wheat
is
stroking.
And he's got a little Thanos scarecrow set
Yeah.
up there in his cornfield. That's kind of cool.
Which you saw for like 2 frames in the bottom corner in the end of Infinity War that everybody was pointing out. The Iron Man thing, he's like just leaving a message for her. Everybody's like, oh, he says the word rescue, so she's going to be rescue. But
she did have an Iron Man suit in the third one.
Like a leaked... Oh, no.
Huh.
I don't want
It's possible.
Get a phone call in the middle of this. Why would I want that? It doesn't have a lot, which I like, because it's a teaser. But I also don't like that because I'm probably going to try to do what I did for Infinity War, where I only watch the first trailer and never any other trailers, because I want to go in cold, not knowing a bunch of stuff. So it's good that I really don't know anything that's going to happen, except Ant-Man's going to show up. But
right at the very end.
Yeah, but then I also, I'm just going to be completely out of the loop, which is good, I suppose, for my...
I have a buddy who went to see Aquaman with me who was the same way. He was trying to avoid all Avengers trailers, and they played trailer in front of Aquaman. So he's sitting there, he's just like, oh my god. And he tries to put his hand over his eyes, and I'm just like, no, dude, just watch it.
It's gonna happen to me too. I was thinking that any superhero movie is just gonna have even its competing superhero franchise trailers in it.
I got another friend who's like that with Star Wars, who refuses to watch any Star Wars trailers because he loves it so much and wants to go into it surprised.
Yeah, I would like to do that. I'm too bombarded. I try.
I don't. I love spoilers.
Yeah. Well, speaking of a spoilery thing, I guess.
Should we glance over Hellboy? Did you see the Hellboy trailer?
Yeah, I
mentioned it.
I did.
Is it worth talking about? It looks silly. The character's silly.
I haven't seen the original Hellboy in a really long time, and I never saw the Golden Army second one or whatever it's called.
It's worth a watch. It is. It's worth it.
I know that those are very stylized. What is it? Guillermo del Toro.
Del Toro.
Yeah. That is.
Which I always thought was crazy. In my head canon, he did The Shape of Water, that won Best Picture at the Oscars last year. Who is played by the same actor
guy, that does
who plays Abe Vigoda,
monster,
or not Abe Vigoda? What's his name? Abe Sapien. Abe Vigoda is the gangster from The Godfather. Abe Sapien is
he voices
Valestra.
Yeah,
that's who you're thinking of in Phantasm.
Valestra,
yeah. But no, Abe Sapien is the same guy from Shape of Water, and he looks just like him. And it's still Toro.
Yeah, it's in the same.
It's in the same universe.
Yeah,
it's got to be. The Hellboy universe is actually pretty and there's a lot going on in that Mike Mignola universe that Dark Horse is published.
The trailer, new trailer looked fun. I was worried.
It does look fun,
which is weird. I didn't expect it to
fun
be
in like a Men in Black kind of way.
Yeah, I guess. In a
but with demons instead of aliens.
Yeah, bordering on. Well, that's also a good comparison because I felt like the start of the trailer, it shows just a bunch of demons flying in the sky and stuff like that, and it looks like a very underworld Men in Black era movie, which is when the original Hellboy movies came out.
Right.
So I guess it's retaining enough of that, and he's got a practical prosthetic makeup stuff going on, which I like instead of doing a Thanos thing of him being completely CGI or something.
I think the new Ron Perlman was Hellboy in the original movies, but this new guy, I forget his name.
He's the Stranger Things cop.
Yeah.
That's his name.
David Harbour, I want to say is his name, but I could.
I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
That's his name.
It is David Harbour. Okay. I was right.
Stranger Things cop.
My memory hasn't failed me yet.
It will.
One day.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll go see it probably. ?
I will. I've always liked the Hellboy world. I haven't read much of those comics, but Mike Mignola is one of my favorite artists.
I like Mike Mignola, but I don't really care about Hellboy. I don't know.
I like demons and Satan and stuff. So
I like the Mr. Freeze design in Batman. There's my Mike
there you
Mignola
go.
happiness. Okay. Cool. Anyway, the thing I was gonna talk about was there was a leaked Young Justice clip from the new season. It might not exist by the time you're listening to this. I don't know. It's been up for 3 days at this point. On YouTube, it's Young Justice Outsiders Prince's All Clip. I don't know why it's called that, but that's what it is. And
is that a song title from Prince?
No.
Okay.
But it just kind of shows, like, we've been getting hints in the other trailers that the theme of this season is going to be that there's like
Outsiders.
metahuman trafficking. Well, yeah, the Outsiders, but there's metahuman trafficking, or they're like underground or underworld like distribution of metahumans, like kidnapping them and stuff like that. And that's happening in this clip that we see. I don't know if it's like a straight out of the episode clip, or if it's kind of edited, like when they release like the first 5 minutes of this movie kind of thing, and it's kind of more fast paced edited than it actually is in the movie or whatever.
Okay.
But it has a girl
Black Lightning.
Yeah, and a girl gets kidnapped who has like tar lava powers. I don't really know who that is.
Lava Girl and Shark Boy?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Shark Boy, Aquaman, same thing.
Lagoon Boy.
Yeah. But, yeah, we could do that. We'll make the poster. But she gets kidnapped, and then she like falls unconscious, and she wakes up, and she's in an apocalypse ship among a bunch of parademons, and they like push her out to fight with them, and she's being controlled remotely by persons unknown to fight apocalypse wars on Ran with all the Justice.
Do you think
League
it's
fighting
Volcana?
against them. No, it's like a big like Bang Baby looking kind of lava girl. I don't know.
Okay. Cool.
And yeah, the parademons look almost exactly like they do in the Justice League War movie. It's the same art director, Phil Barasa. Yeah. I was gonna say he has a hard time, or I mean he does it well, but he's given a hard time having to like redesign all the DC characters on a constant basis, because he's just added on to like every DC project now. So
he always stays close to what he's done before, but then he'll update them slightly depending.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking back and forth between these parademons and the ones from War, and the only difference I can tell is that like, oh, you can see more like muscles under the armor on in Young Justice than you can in the movie. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. That comes out real soon in January.
Yeah, and we were just seeing how there was a tweet from, I think, Brandon Vietti or one of the directors maybe, about how it's gonna be like 3 episodes a week for however many weeks it takes to get 13 episodes out.
Well, it's all of January, and then they have a break until June.
Yeah, it's
to
like
do
a big
the last
break.
half.
But yeah,
they this was the last piece of my news actually, was the DC Universe streaming lineup. So that's a nice transition.
Wow.
Yeah. So in addition to Young Justice, the other shows that are coming out in the year, let me find the infographic real quick here. It's that's the nice way to look at it. Well, before I pull that up, the Death of Superman sequel, The Reign of the Superman, is coming on the DC Universe streaming app the same day it is released to DVD, which is real soon. I think it's January 16th. It's either the 14th or the 16th.
Sooner than I thought. Yeah,
it's very, very soon, so we'll be able to watch that the day that it comes out. But yeah, so Titans just wrapped up with its last episode recently, which I don't know, we won't talk about that today. Maybe another time we can do a deep dive on Titans.
Because I have to watch episode 2 through Infinity.
Oh, you haven't even watched it all? Nope. Yeah, I watched it all.
I watched the first episode.
So yeah, Young Justice will run through January. Doom Patrol runs through like mid-February to the end of May. So that whole series is going to come out. And then they have the rest of Young Justice, Outsiders, and Swamp Thing at the same time through Young Justice will be the month of June. That'll wrap up the second half of the season. Swamp Thing will run from June to the end of August, and then Stargirl picks up from September into like mid-November, with a little overlap with Harley Quinn, which starts in October through January 2020. So
There's too much. There's too much.
It's great though. It's like I mean that just means there's new original content every week from the DC Universe streaming service next year.
I wonder if the fact that they don't have to necessarily like get ratings for these shows in order to continue, if they're just gonna just continue as long as they want to and just keep adding more and more, like I guess in a good way, but there's too many things. I can't do it, Ted.
My theory, and I could be wrong, is that they kind of, I don't want to say they rushed these into production, but stuff like Titans, Doom Patrol, Swamp Thing, these all started production before the service came out. So it was kind of DC'd. They had to invest in these shows without knowing how their streaming service would do. But now that they have the streaming service, they're getting income from all the subscribers now, and that they can use to make more content. So I'm hoping it'll just perpetuate a Ouroboros cycle of feeding the beast, you know.
That's
forever.
a character from Batman Beyond 2.0, Justice League Beyond. I don't know. The big old snake.
The big old snake. Well, that's a mythological.
I know.
You know, it's a thing.
Just informing the listeners.
Yeah.
There's no mythology in DCE in any capacity.
Nope.
That's all I had to talk about for news things. Which movie do you want to talk about first? Because we're going to talk about
Aquaman would be
and Spider-Verse.
Aquaman's alphabetical.
Okay, that's good. And then all the way to S for Spider-Verse. So I have like a list of things for both of them because I was waiting for you for like 2 hours. So
I don't have a list of things because I'm just flying this episode by the seat of my pants.
Nice. All right. Yeah. Well, I'll start off by saying I thought the effects were really good, and I enjoyed the movie more than I thought I was going to. Yeah.
I want to put that out there from the start. We both liked this movie a lot. Cool.
People just stopped listening because they didn't like it, but
you can look at our old episode trashing Justice League if you want to hear us poop on the DCEU. We had some bad things to say about it.
I was gonna say that like it's kind of disappointing that this universe is no longer, the Zack Snyder vision direction.
He was an executive producer.
But I mean like. It had a distinct like style for a while, and then enough people didn't like that. That's I only say it's disappointing because if I was put in charge of a bunch of DC movies and I was like, it's gonna look like this, it's gonna feel like this, and then nobody liked what I did, I would be sad.
I definitely felt that by the very end of the film when he's like kind of donned his Aquaman armor. He's got the golden shirt, the green gloves and everything. It was like, that is opposite of Zack Snyder. Yeah. That was very colorful. It was a very colorful final battle.
Sparkly and the saturation is turned.
Yeah. Yes, which is the opposite.
But the visual effects were very nice. I found myself I haven't been this impressed by visual effects in a long time. Watching the trailers, I didn't think I was going to be, because like the shots of Atlantis and fish and stuff was like, I've seen this before. But there was a lot of stuff where I didn't know how they did it, which is like not very common for me now. Like, it sounds really egotistic, but
a lot of green screen.
Yeah, well, like of course, most of it is like a blue screen, like the underwater stuff and whatever. But like, I don't know, when I watch like the airport battle in Civil War, they show the behind the scenes. They're in a big airport and they got a bunch of green slats up behind them and they just go, and that's fine. But like, I know how everything is done on that I'm seeing, whereas like this, it was like, okay, how are they floating but it doesn't look like they're on wires, and their hair is moving like it's underwater but they're not underwater. It was all this stuff where like I was not expecting to have that many times where I was just focused so hard on like, how is this happening in front of my eyes right now? So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. It was like James Wan was the director, and he's known for doing the Conjuring horror films.
He's Saw guy.
Yeah, he did Saw too. I didn't realize that. So it's cool to see him kind of come out of the horror genre and do this. big epic action adventure movie.
Well, he's also done some of the Fast and Furious movies, I think.
Okay, yeah, that's right. He did the last one.
Yeah.
And he's doing the Swamp Thing show for DC Universe.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. But with Aquaman, he definitely did, like, this was groundbreaking in the sort of visual effects that he did here. Like, we've never really seen an underwater movie like this.
Yeah, it's been done, but not, like, the whole movie pretty much was underwater. Right. Like, there was very little time where it was not underwater.
I was always expecting it to kind of be like the Gungan city from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Nah. It was so different.
They needed, like, a big frog man.
It did remind me a lot of Thor, though, and Asgard.
Yeah.
A lot of similarities. That bridge,
in particular, the Rainbow Bridge.
The Rainbow Bridge that goes into the city for one.
Yeah.
And just like the plot too. Honestly, between it's about Aquaman and his younger brother who feels the fear.
I'm the king. I'm the real Thor.
Yep. But in this one, Thor is the pure.
Yeah.
Blood Asgardian, whereas Loki's half. You know, whereas
adopted.
Aquaman's got the half going on, and his brother is pure. But so talking about Worm, I thought Ocean Master did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Patrick Wilson. I know you were hesitant about him. You don't like him very much.
Okay, I'll say I thought the character was cool. I thought that he had believable motivations. His costume, even though it was super goofy, looked like it fit in this.
It was straight out of the comic books. Like, that's exactly what Ocean Master looked like.
His eyebrows move, like the metal of his eyebrows move as he moves his eyes and stuff. But like, I'm still a little meh on Patrick Wilson in general. I don't know. I just don't like him as an actor. He's just dry and uninteresting.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
he did a good job. I was noticing that his hair is blonde when it's normally dark, and Aquaman's hair is dark when it's normally blonde. I don't know if that was on purpose to try to separate them more.
It was interesting. Well, Aquaman kind of goes blonder, sort of, by the end of it. Like,
he's got like
his hair has like a golden,
golden
feel to it, and his eyes kind of glow yellow too. But in the comic books, Aquaman's blonde hair was actually like a plot element. It was kind of considered a curse, like an Atlantean curse, to have blonde hair, and most everyone else had black hair. So they are obviously not going that way in this movie. And like, another thing too is Mera in the comics, or Mira, however you want to say her name.
Yeah, they say Mera a lot in this movie. I've said Mira forever.
I say Mira. It's Mira.
Maybe we've both been saying it wrong.
Yep. But she, in the comic books, Zebul, which is her kingdom, she's from one of the 7 kingdoms that they talked about in the movie, and you get to see her father in this, who's the redheaded guy. In the comics, though, Zebul is like a different dimension entirely. Like, it's got on a different
I think that just might have been a little too much for this movie, because it was already like every 5 minutes. What's going on? Well, let me tell you the story. King blah blah blah. Like, I think if they also added like, there's different dimensions, they're like, okay, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. The different kingdoms, the 7 kingdoms, is also, that's been established in the comics, including Zebul. But it's like, that kingdom's a different dimension. But I'm glad they included that plot element here.
Although I guess there was still sort of a different dimension, because like the core of the Earth just has like Dinosaur Island in it. So
basically,
is that already a thing in DC, where the core, the center of no, I know, but like, is the center of the Earth also just like
Scartaris
that time forgot? You're right. Yeah, I wonder if that was that then. I don't know.
It could have been. I mean, there's been a few. Dinosaur Island is like, that's more of an island specifically.
That's more of an island than anything.
That's why it's called Dinosaur Island.
With dinosaurs.
Jurassic Park.
Yes. Let's see. I wanted to go back and see it again within like an hour of seeing it, which I think is a good sign.
It's a great sign.
Even like, I mean, that hasn't happened in recent memory except for maybe Infinity War. Like, where it's good enough to where I'm like, I want to take someone else to go see that immediately, instead of
Infinity War,
I'll see it on video.
Infinity War just dropped on Netflix. You can stream it on Netflix now. as of the 25th.
Well, I own it on Blu-ray, so I don't need to.
You could stream it on Netflix in like 480 quality if you want to.
That's true.
If you're uploading a bunch of footage on Google Drive at the same time.
Yeah, so it'll just be really blocky and horrible.
Yeah, that's the
it
best
sounds
way to watch
great.
it.
Yeah. I noticed, like we talked about, James Wan has directed horror movies normally. That the scene with the
trench.
The trench.
Yeah,
was,
when he dives,
legitimately frightening. Like,
that was cool.
When they're you saw the shot in the trailer of them diving with the flare and then all them coming at him, but like it lasted a really long time where they just keep going farther and farther, and there's just so many of them.
That was one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, it was really good.
The trench is from Jeff Johns' Aquaman run.
Yeah, from
Rebirth. That was a great series.
There's kind of a mix of a bunch of different Aquaman stories in this in a good way. I don't think it felt a little stuffed sometimes, but it didn't feel like it was 2.5 hours long like it was for some reason. I think the only time it felt like it was that long was when they're like searching for the artifact in the desert, and it just like as soon as they find it, they're like, all right, off to the next place. I was like, what, you didn't find it? Oh my god.
That was the one part that bothered me kind of, was the search during the desert. It felt like there was a sudden like 180-degree character switch with Aquaman. Like he just suddenly got like just, oh whatever, we're here on this adventure. I don't care about the details. We'll get there. Or whatever sort of thing.
Well, and he spent the first like 20 minutes of the movie, doing his typical like, I don't care. I'm Aquaman. Get away from me, boob lady. I don't need you. And then at some point, because I as soon as he started saying stuff like that near the start, I was like, okay, yeah, I know how this is going to go. By the end of the movie, he's going to accept all the things, and he's going to like the stuff, and he's going to be Aquaman. But then
he's ready for responsibility.
He did it very soon, like very quickly. Within the first, 45 minutes, he's just, it's cool. I'll do whatever I need to do to save the kingdom and stuff. Like, someone even says, like, I thought you didn't want to do it. And he's like, that... now I do. Like he says some line where he's just like, well, I might as well because I'm here or something. It's like, okay.
I'm the only one who can. Yeah. Well, let's talk Black Manta. I thought he was extremely well done. Like we get the character motivation.
I actually wanted to punch Aquaman for leaving his dad left behind. I was like, what are you doing, dude?
He did a Batman from Batman Begins. He's like, I don't have to save you. Yeah. I'm not gonna kill you. But I don't have to save you either. Yeah.
But we don't know Aquaman at all yet at that moment, so it's just, I mean, other than his Justice League appearance, I guess, but
which happened before this movie. There was that little drop about, you fought Steppenwolf.
I think she even says like, you defeated Steppenwolf, and it just made me think like, nah, Superman defeated Steppenwolf. You guys kind of helped a little bit. But
that made me think about like the continuity of it, like because we see Mira in Justice League movie. Did that make sense to you?
I guess there must have been at some point between Aquaman being a teenager and the Justice League movie where Mira comes to him and says like, hey, you got to do this a couple times. And he's like, no, I won't. And then just goes and lives his life. And then finally the Aquaman movie happens, I guess. Because, in Justice League, she's like, you remember, I told you we got to do Atlantis shit. And he's like, nah.
I got some other thing to focus on.
Yeah. This ain't my movie yet. Leave me alone.
Yeah, I thought it came across as their first meeting in the Aquaman movie.
It kind of felt that way, but also he says, like, what's her name again in Aquaman? So he doesn't know her name,
so he did
recognize
her.
Yeah.
That's good, okay. Well, that makes me feel a little better about that, because that was bothering me.
Yeah. It's a little all over the place, because they didn't know what they were doing for a while, and maybe still don't. I don't know.
Black Manta. Black Manta had really cool character motivation. His costume was amazing. Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed watching him create the Black Manta mask.
Yeah, well, I kind of wish they had at least done like a throwaway line in the start or something about like, maybe when he's giving him his grandpa's knife, he could be like, hey, I know you don't care about, melee weapons, like you're more like science and stuff, and something like that, because then all of a sudden he's just like, I'm gonna take apart this gun and make it into a Black Manta helmet because I know how to do that. Why though? Why do you know how to do that?
Why not?
This technology I've never seen before that turns water into laser beams.
Which was, I mean, really well done though. That was like Black Manta felt menacing. Yeah, he was.
Although he did get kind of a Boba Fett like defeat. Oh, there goes the cat food. You get to hear the cat food come out. Wah, 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 wah. That's the sound that Black Manta's helmet makes. Anyway,
Aquaman at one point does a little like whoop 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 whoop. You know, the circles coming out of his
he kind
head
of does it with his
talk to the
hands
fish.
a little bit, which is okay. But yeah, it still happens.
I was happy to see that. I didn't expect to. That kind of made me happy.
Yeah, I remember when they did that in JLU, or no, I guess it's in Justice League in the Dr. Fate episode where he does that for the first time, and I remember thinking like, oh man, like this Aquaman was supposed to be cool. He wasn't supposed to do the wub wub wub, but then it worked pretty okay in this movie. Yeah. Yeah, Black Manta.
Did you see the after credits scene?
Yes, but I'm trying to remember what it was.
Okay.
Oh, it's Black Manta floating
Black Manta
on
washes
wood.
up.
Yeah.
And then he's like sort of saved by that Dr. Shin guy that you see on the news every now and then.
Yeah, he was in Throne of Atlantis, right?
Yeah, in the animated movie.
Yeah, which I wish that I had caught that earlier, because he has a couple different like news blurb things that happen that he's on, and I just like, oh, it's some guy, but
I thought that was him from the first time, and then it was cool to be like, I was right. So yeah, that makes me think then that he'll have a similar sort of role as he did in Throne of Atlantis in the next one. But do you think personally, from the Into Justice League, we have this tease of the Legion of Doom forming with Lex and Joker and Deathstroke. Do you think it's going to be Ocean Master or Black Manta that joins the Legion?
I think it makes more sense to be Black Manta, like
because he was in the Super Friends.
But I don't know. I have a feeling that because when they take away Ocean Master at the end of the movie, it's a very anticlimactic. Like I thought he was going to kill Nicole Kidman at the last second, because he's like, "You're with him," and then she keeps talking, and I was like, "He's going to stab her. He's going to stab her."
I was really surprised she made it out alive.
Yeah, but when he's Aquaman's like, "Hey, take him away. Let's talk later." Then they just walk into the water, and a wave crashes over them, and he's gone. But I have a feeling that, like, right at that second, he probably, like, fucked up the guards and got the hell out of there. So he'll be back doing something at some point.
He'll be back, of course. Ocean Master has been in the Injustice Gang before in the comics, so it's not impossible that he wouldn't be a member.
He feels like he is too central of a character, maybe. Like... Deathstroke, we haven't seen at all. Lex Luthor, it was kind of a wacky, goofier Lex Luthor, and people like kind of dismiss him. And same with Joker.
Seems like a safe bet.
But like Black Manta seems like he fits in that more. Where when you combine all of these people, it's like one interesting character instead of
Manta was in the Legion of Doom. That's been in the current Justice League comic book by Scott Snyder, except after Drowned Earth. I don't know if you read Drowned Earth.
I haven't finished it yet, but
okay. Well, Black Manta's membership is questionable.
Okay. Yeah, they need like Grodd and Giganta and Solomon Grundy and Toyman.
Cheetah's going to be established in 184.
It makes sense
Wig
to bring her.
They're getting there.
Do you even think we'll see that ever, or do you think this universe will conclude before we can ever see the Legion of Doom?
It would. I wouldn't be surprised if we never did. If that's the one appearance of Deathstroke ever in the DCAU.
that
would not surprise me.
Shouldn't we have a league of our own? And then you probably should, but you won't. That's the end of the movie. Let me see my list of things what we haven't talked about yet. James Wan slow-mo was not real slow-mo. There were a couple shots where so there is a bunch of like Zack Snyder slow-mo stuff has been in every one of these, but there's also a couple of shots in the original couple Saw movies that he directed, or maybe it was just the first one that he directed, I can't remember. But
did he do the first one, the original?
Yeah,
because there's been like 6.
Yeah, there's like 7, 8 Saw movies, but he did at least the first one. I don't know about any of the others, but anyway, there's shots in the original Saw movie that have, like, they're supposed to be in slow motion, but they didn't film it with that in mind, so they just slowed down 24 frames per second.
I noticed that too when Aquaman's in the
it's kind of like a choppy, like, oops, we didn't realize we were going to do this in slow motion. And but that's kind of like a trademark thing of his, so I thought that was kind of cool. It feels very like late 90s, early 2000s to do that, but it was a thing that I noticed.
I thought it was jarring, but not too jarring.
Yeah. The chemistry between Aquaman and Mira was lacking. There was not really... It didn't feel earned when they kissed or when they, like... I mean, they were together a long time in the movie, so I guess it made sense, but it was... I don't know, I've seen, like, Disney princesses that feel more earned, more like the relationship came together better.
She's like a badass Ariel.
Yeah. The costume design was really good. There's a lot of, like... stuff that looks like it's probably not very comfortable to wear, but it looks very comic accurate, or like a good translation. Let's see. Oh, I thought that so when they enter Atlantis, she explains like, oh, I can get in because I have like royal clearance or something.
Diplomatic immunity.
Yeah, and she says like, yeah, there's a lot of people trying to get into Atlantis all the time. That's why there's a bridge and like there's a border patrol to keep you out and a bunch of cannons and stuff. And like there's that whole like paragraph of explanation just felt very unnecessary. Like I wasn't thinking, well, how do they keep like people from immigrating into Atlantis? Oh, thank you for telling me. Like I
don't want like the Gungan population to suddenly sprout up there. And...
yeah, I guess, but it just felt like I have a personal problem when I make movies is that I have too much like plot hole avoiding explanations. So like there's the first like attempt at a movie that I did, the town is supposed to be completely devoid of people, and it was the first Brigadier Crenshaw. You're familiar, but no one else knows what I'm talking about. But there's supposed to be a town. The town is like everybody's dead except the main character. But there's like cars driving in the background, and like you can see people like playing at a park in the background and stuff like that in a couple shots, because we filmed it in high school and there was no way to not do that. And so like then when we made the sequel, I had an explanation in like a flashback of like, oh yeah, the bad guys created like robot cars that just drive around the town so that anyone that watching from like satellites will be like, yep, this town is populated for sure. Like, but it doesn't need to be explained. It's just me.
Right.
I call it like, I have this on my notes here, Bridge Border Patrol, one of those James explanations. So it's not, I don't know. It just didn't seem like it needed to be said.
Well, it was mainly a way just so that when they flew over the wall later, they could be like, oh, that's why.
I guess so, yeah. The little kids looked a lot like a mix of Jason Momoa and Jango Fett guy, which was good.
Yeah.
They picked good little actors. The de-aging on Jango Fett and Nicole Kidman wasn't distracting to me, but it was on Willem Dafoe. Like
yes, it was.
His wrinkles being gone was really weird.
Yeah, that was very creepy. But I liked him as Volko. I thought he did a great job.
Yeah.
And
isn't he kind of turn out to be? Doesn't Willem Dafoe's character in the comics turn out to be sort of a bad guy? But he wasn't in this.
At least recently in the New 52.
Okay.
But yeah, Nicole Kidman's character arc reminded me a lot of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like Michelle Pfeiffer's character, where she's lost to a place.
I thought that too, but I thought maybe they had started making this movie before that was like came out or was in production or anything. Mm-hmm. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
they definitely did.
Yeah. There was a moment.
Subconscious.
Yes.
Yeah.
You love that concept.
It's a thing.
There was a little kid a couple rows behind me that in the opening like submarine fight, Aquaman starts punching the sub and the guy's like, oh, there's a man out there, and he's, that's no man. And the little kid behind me was like, you're right, that is no man, that's Aquaman. And at first I was like, oh no, this kid, he's gonna talk the whole movie, and he did kind of. But that's then but I immediately thought, oh, like that's pretty cool that this kid's like, he's like 6 or 7. His like vision of Aquaman is that he's like, yeah, fucking Aquaman, hell yeah, instead of everybody else. Oh, he's a stupid fish guy. Yeah. The only other 2 things I have listed are Pitbull Africa remix was distracting.
Yes. Oh my god, yes, that was horrible.
And Amber Heard is hot. So those are my 2 things.
Those are accurate. She survived an abusive relationship with Johnny Depp.
Yes, she did.
That's
a good note to end for the Aquaman discussion. Yeah.
Could you imagine if Jack Sparrow just like arrived at the end and was like, "Hi, Amber."
No. Yeah, he just says, "Hi, Amber."
Kill him, Aquaman. Kill him, Aquaman.
He'll be the next villain. That was something I guess that I thought was like this movie.
Jack Sparrow Scissorhands.
Yeah, that's his name. That he could.
And he cuts Aquaman's hand off, and Aquaman's got the hook, and it's hook versus scissors.
Yeah, that's the perfect.
Hire me,
villain.
DC. Aquaman 2. Scissors versus hook.
Hook.
Dawn of utensils.
And then it's so surprising when Aquaman loses his hand in the movie.
Who would have thought he's fighting Scissorhands?
Fucking, what was I gonna say? If Pirates of the Caribbean movies hadn't happened, if the what it was, Davy Jones, all those like crab monsters on his ship and stuff, if all that stuff hadn't happened, I think some of the effects in this movie would have been even more impressive. But I was honestly like sometimes like, yeah, I've seen this. But most of it was good. Okay, Spider-Verse time.
Spider-Verse.
It's good
awesome.
also.
Yeah, this is a really good movie. It felt like a comic book come to life because of all the, like, every now and then it had like captions or little word balloons.
Yeah, it had a lot of really fun, like, artistic comic booky things. Like the
animation was like state of the art, I thought. It was like something we'd never, it was like almost Pixar in a way.
Yeah, it was like somewhere between traditional animation and CGI. Like, I'm sure it's all technically CGI, but it was like the frame rate was like an choppy animation frame rate, and
a little bit.
Kind of like the Lego movie or something.
Right.
But yeah, they had all the little like
which was written by the same people, Phil Lord.
Okay.
Chris Lord and Phil Miller. I think.
Phil Lamar and Chris Pine wrote this movie.
Right.
They have little comic book dots on them, on the textures. There's those little, if you're like super zoomed in on an old comic book, it's made up of little dots. That was cool.
Every now and then they kind of have like an outline that was like, is this supposed to be a 3D? Right?
Yeah.
Did you see it in 3D? I didn't.
No, I didn't. I try not to.
I did. I actually saw Aquaman in 3D.
Oh,
I didn't see
I would maybe do that. I could tell
I was reaching out to the screen. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna grab the fish." Me and my friends,
too.
When we went in there, we were like, "There better be a dolphin. There's got to be a dolphin that swims at us in this 3D movie." And it happened. And when it happened, me and my friends were like, "Yeah!"
Now we can leave.
Yes. All right. Now we're back in Spider-Man.
I was gonna say we're talking about Spider-Man. What the hell?
I know. I had to say that.
People skipped the Aquaman ones because they hadn't seen it, and then you just spoiled it.
I just ruined the dolphin, and it flies at you if you watch it in 3D. Swims at you.
When you see cosplayers wearing like body paint that's like detail. Okay, well, so sometimes people do that where it's like the comic book like dark lines on them, like they'll emphasize like their nose lines or their like shoulder blade lines and stuff. That was also like part of the art style, and this was just like kind of a comic book looking thing.
It had a really good cast in there too. I don't know who played everybody, but I know Mahershala Ali, who's from the Moonlight movie that won Best Picture like 2 years ago.
Okay,
I think he has been in all sorts of stuff. He played Cottonmouth in Luke Cage.
Oh yeah.
He's going to be in True Detective season 3.
Who did he play in
this? He's in
movie?
The Wire. He was the dad, Miles Morales' police father dad, and he was really funny. I thought he had some really, like, he takes Miles to school, and Miles has right in the back of the car, and then he goes. You see this in the trailer, but he walks into school and he's just like, "Son, say I love you."
I love you.
That was pretty great.
Yeah, I was thinking like,
really funny.
I'm not gonna laugh at that because I've seen it 20 times already, but I still did.
And then they go into Miles's, like, that basically was his origin story from the Ultimate Spider-Man comics, where his uncle we learned that he is actually the supervillain, the Prowler.
Yeah.
And
which I've liked Prowler since the 90s cartoon. Like, I thought he was a cool character design and stuff like that. And then I've known for a while that, he's Miles Morales' uncle. So whenever that was a reveal in this movie, it was like, I know.
You were expecting.
But I think it's more made for kids than anything, so they probably wouldn't know. Yeah,
I forgot that, actually. But then later, I started to remember. So it was a bit of a surprise for me when I was watching it. But I did expect from, like, as soon as his uncle shows him that, like, underground, like, Fisk lab place where he's like, I got a cool place, we can go do some graffiti. I was like, this is going to come back later.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that he worked at this place.
Reason.
Yeah. His uncle shouldn't just know this.
I thought it was weird that there's, like, Spider-Man comics, but also Spider-Man. Like, it has, like, Peter Parker getting bit by a spider in a comic, but also no one knew Peter Parker was Spider-Man.
Right.
Like, that was kind of weird.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. That took me out for a second. I was like, hold on, in this world, well, they did know Peter Parker after his death. That was then it was a very public. Peter was Spider-Man and stuff.
Maybe they just didn't say his name in the comic or something. Like, he told them, like, I was a geeky science guy. Just put that in. Draw whatever you think that looks like. Because he also he's blonde in this universe or something. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it was hard to tell, like, what version of the Spider-Man universes that you're in for most of the movie, because they kind of hint at, like, this is the same Spider-Man from every. It's kind of one of those, like, Batman, like, every story happened at some point kind of things from Metal, right?
They did show that. I mean, right. Yeah, in this, they show Spider-Man, like, from, like, classic clips that we've seen.
Yeah, like,
from
he
the
saves the train in Spider-Man 2. He does this thing. He does the upside down kiss. He blah blah blah. Right. So, although he wasn't, he
even did the dance. He's like, we don't talk about the Spider-Man 3 dance.
Yep. Yeah. But then he also did other stuff and, like, Green Goblin's a giant, like, dragon monster.
Yeah, that was cool.
And Dr. Octopus is a woman and stuff like that. So. It was like, I don't know what universe I'm in, but it's cool.
I really liked the way they did Wilson Fisk. He kind of looked like Gru from Despicable Me. The way his shoulders were so
he's just this gigantic man. There were only 2 other people in the theater with me last night when I saw it, and they were just laughing every time he was on screen because he's so giant. And, like, it cuts to his, like, limo pulling up to the lab building, and it cuts away to Miles for a second and cuts back, and he's gotten out of the car, but you never see him get out of the car because it's, like, physically impossible. And they were just laughing behind me, going, "How did he fit in the car?"
Nice. I liked how they brought in, like, obviously it's a element of his character from the comics, I'm sure, but, like, being fresh off my Daredevil season 3, it was cool to see Vanessa and his kid and
which I still haven't watched.
Yeah, but it was like, I'm familiar with Fisk. I get his relationship, his motivation with Vanessa.
That was kind of cool that they kept. I don't know if Vanessa, the character, is.
I'm sure she
a comic thing, but probably The ending was sort of like one of those, like, DC endings, where there's just a big CGI lightning and smoke and fire and everything, but it still looked really cool. Like, it was a bunch of, like, weird, like, Kirby crackle bubbles and stuff everywhere.
Yeah, those were Kirby bubbles.
So that was pretty cool.
Kirby dots.
It's hard to say, like, how you would translate Kirby crackle into like a 3D, like a physical
he did
world.
It really well.
Yeah,
just like a bubbly portal.
Yeah.
Well, what? I guess we could talk about the new Spider-Mans, the ones that were from the parallel worlds. They were all really interesting.
Spider-Man Noir, voiced by Nicolas Cage.
That was cool. Hilarious.
Yeah. Like, he's looking at the Rubik's Cube. So this is blue? Yes. No, damn it. Like, he's trying so hard. That's pretty cool.
He figures it out by the end of it.
Spider-Gwen was good. I didn't expect her to be... Like, I thought maybe there was going to be a Gwen in his universe and Spider-Gwen later, but then it was just the one. It was the same one. It's weird how young she is, but I guess maybe that's kind of a retcon-y thing in the current comics, is that she's... Because she's like, oh, I couldn't save my best friend Peter Parker, who looks like a 40-year-old man, and I'm in high school, or in middle school, maybe even. Like, I don't know.
Well, Gwen was the one that Peter couldn't save. It was like her death was such a big deal in the comic books at the time. So.
But maybe they're kind of doing like a... I don't know, Tim Drake,
definitely a
Jason Todd thing. Yeah, in this world, he was younger. In this world, he was older. So that...
Well, that's how Spider-Gwen always was a parallel universe
thing. I forgot to ask, was there any bit of movie prior to the opening Marvel logo, or did it just start suddenly? Because I walked into the theater and it was already starting. But then, like, when the spider bites him, it kept showing, like, hey, this is the spider that escaped in maybe a scene you missed, or something like that. Like, I don't know.
I didn't catch that. I forget. But yeah, I think it just started with the credits. Yeah.
But anyway, that's the only part I maybe missed, is some sort of opening little thing. But I liked
Spider-Ham. John Mulaney.
That was good.
Spider-Ham, and he was hilarious.
My hand is wet because I just washed them. That's the only, no other reason. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
I like how his eyes, his like nose eyes, also move when his eyes move, like in the same Deadpool-y fashion. It was kind of weird how he's like, I come from a cartoon world, but they're all cartoons. Like, this is a cartoon, so I don't know. But, the fourth wall breaking stuff was cool, but also like confusing sometimes. Like, Peter B. Parker says like, oh, he's gonna say you have 24 hours, and then he says it. It's like, oh, that's funny because I've done this for so long that I know the villain cliches. But it was also sort of just a wink at like, that's what Spider-Man is. Everybody knows Spider-Man stuff. This is starting to feel like a real Spider-Man thing now, that kind of thing, the whole movie. So, I don't know. It was funny, but it was also like, how do you know, though? Are you Deadpool-y enough to be aware of what's happening? But I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe Spider-Man is.
Yeah. It seems like... Well, did you see the after credits scene?
I did, with Spider-Man 2099. That was pretty cool. That was like the only part of the movie where I went like, oh! Nice. I like that guy. I like that character.
I loved that after credits scene. He pops up in the 1960s TV
you're
show
pointing.
world.
Why am I pointing at you? Yeah, you pointed first. Yeah. That was good. Because that's all that happens in that cartoon, is they point at shit.
Yes. I stuck around for that, thinking that they were going to tease the next movie, because they're doing one on Silk, who is like a Muslim superhero who's got spider powers. I don't know much about her, but I think it's really cool that they're doing another Spidey movie in this animation style.
I think it's cool that like we're now in I think we maybe talked about this before, but we're now in like a time where superhero movies are so mainstream and everybody knows superhero stuff enough that you can make a movie like this where there's dozens of Spider-Men from different dimensions. Like, no one, if you tried to do that, in like original X-Men movie time period, no one would be
this is based off a book. A comic book that's already basically went through the same. It had a different villain.
Yeah.
I forget who, but it wasn't Kingpin.
It's just kind of a loosely based on the
same
concept.
Like Spider-Ham, Spider-Gwen, and those guys.
But like no one would get it 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Or like the hardcore comic book fans would, but now anybody can just go see the Spider-Verse. I guess it helped that they explained, like, every time a new Spider-Man showed up, they're like, okay, go, let's do this again. My name is this, and this happened to me, and whatever.
That was a lot of fun. I liked that, too. Yeah. Their structure was on it.
Yeah.
I thought.
I think it had a lot of heart. There was a lot of moments where I felt bad when... spoilers, Prowler dies, I guess, and like he realizes it's his uncle, and stuff like that was good. But then toward the end, when all the stuff's happening, all the bubbles and all the explosions, it didn't feel quite as emotional, I guess, as earlier moments in the movie. Like, that's supposed to be like the big, oh, my dad, he's watching me, I gotta do it. And then it was just like, oh, it's over, I guess. So
I thought Miles was a really cool character. I'm just saying that. I liked his spray painted Spidey suit.
Yeah, it was cool. I don't know if that's a normal thing, but I did like that I'm gonna take this one. I thought he was just gonna take a Spider-Man suit, but he like made it his own.
Yeah, that was really.
And
cool.
he did the hey thing to Kingpin to destroy the stuff, the shoulder touch.
Right. Yeah.
The only other thing I had down for this was I like that all this multiverse stuff is happening nowadays. The Elseworlds crossover, and they're gonna do Crisis on Infinite Earths, and there's a Spider-Verse movie, and it's bringing those kind of concepts into the public consciousness, I guess. Maybe not completely, but people are at least now. I mean, there's been movies that have explored that before, but not all at once in the same couple years back to back, and not
it's definitely the zeitgeist of superhero stuff right now. Which makes
we got to do
sense.
dimensions now. That's the thing. Parallel Earths.
That's what people like.
Which bodes well for me because I'm making a movie about that that I have been working on for years, and hopefully by the time it comes out, it'll still be in people's heads. Like, oh, I get it. You don't have to explain what a multiverse is, but I will anyway, because that's what I do in my movies, as previously explained by me on the podcast.
Self-driving cars.
Yeah, you got to listen to episode 33 of 12th Level Intellects to fully understand Virality.
Yes. Well, that was Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Go see it if you haven't seen it. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Are we going to talk about comics now, or what?
Yeah, we'll keep this one kind of short.
Yeah.
I flipped through. I've been just kind of casually reading some stuff. When I come home to visit my parents, I've got a bunch of boxes of old comics here that I just don't have with me in my apartment. And so sometimes I'll flip through and I'll find one. I'll be like, okay, I'll sit down and read this for a second. This time I read World War III, which was a 4-issue miniseries that was published alongside the 52 weekly comic that DC did. So when 52 got near the end of it, they always meant for that series to explain the character changes that led up to 1 year later, after Infinite Crisis happened. So 52 is going to tell the stories of this missing year, explain why characters were different in the other books that took place a year later. But as 52 was being published, they realized, we're focusing on other characters like Animal Man and Elongated Man and Steel, and people who have their own stories.
Booster Gold.
Yeah, Booster Gold, yeah. And then being like, we never explain why Martian Manhunter is the way he is, or why Batgirl and Deathstroke are working together, or why Aquaman's suddenly a young teenager, or all these other little things. And so World War III attempted to explain all these things in the 4-issue miniseries.
In 4 issues, yeah.
yeah. But it all took place at the same time as 52 number 50, which is when Black Adam goes on a rampage, and all the heroes have to stop Black Adam. So it all happened at that same time. So I flipped through that. That was a fun read through again. It just had a bunch of random
it's the
Society characters.
It's the cheat, 52 cheated. Essentially, they're like, we can only do 52 issues. Also, four more over this way.
And then they had 52 Aftermath series that were published after that, like the Four Horsemen and stuff like that. But so I did that. I've been reading Mr. X. I've been reading that for a little while, but that's an old, or it was published in the 80s through Dark Horse by this guy named Dean Motter. And that's been a really cool sort of dark deco vibe. It's kind of like Sin City.
He's in that one Batman episode.
He's in the background of Bane. When he's going off. That's how I learned about him. Yeah. I didn't know the character before that.
Yeah,
checked him out. So I've been flipping through that. I recommend that. I'm not going to talk about that too much, but I did want to talk about Batman Beyond, the current Rebirth series.
Okay. I have not. I read the first couple issues forever ago, but I've not been keeping up with it.
That was a series I've been buying every issue, but I just sat down and read the last 7 all in a row. And so that ended up introducing a new version of the Scarecrow, who was interesting, totally unrelated to Jonathan Crane, just somebody who took his identity of the Scarecrow and repurposed it. And that was an interesting story arc. It's got Matt McGinnis as Robin. He's definitely fully Robin now, working alongside Terry. And in issue number 25, which is kind of like a nice anniversary issue, they reintroduced the Joker. So it's yeah, like apparently the Joker never died in Return of the Joker. Like that never actually happened as far as this Rebirth continuity goes. But he's just a very old man. He's got kind of his like Killing Joke thing going on, where he's like got a Hawaiian shirt and he's darker. He's got that sort of trench coat and weird hat going on that we see in Mask of the Phantasm.
The giant brim.
Yeah, he's that Joker.
Okay.
So very, very sinister and evil.
Is
for sure.
the Robin Beyond stuff, like, I mean, I don't know. I haven't been reading it, so I don't know like how it's working narratively, if it's good or bad. But like the look of him looks too complicated alongside Batman, because like the Terry McGinnis suit is like designed originally for the DCAU, which is already streamlined from comic book designs, but it's also just like the most streamlined looking thing ever. Is just black, red symbol, belt, done. Get it out there.
Red wings.
Yeah, wings. Yeah. And then like and I know in this version he's got a lot more little like highlight kind of Iron Man details on him and stuff, but he still
it's got a weird thing with his eyes too.
Yeah, they go
the
like
corner
up,
of his eyes go
high,
up. Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, but he's still a lot more simplified looking than a lot of other, actual comic characters. But then the Robin is just like, I got pouches, I got slats of different colors, I got squares on this part, I got hair in the places. Like, just I don't know, it's just a lot more complex looking.
It's a little bit fit. It's still fairly streamlined. He's got a yellow wing cape thing going on. I feel like his costume's mainly black with like sort of a DCAU Green Lantern. Like the sort of how the V on his costume just goes
he's
down.
He's got the V, point. The coveted V.
Whereas like the rest of it's just black, and he's got like a red.
I guess
it's pretty simple.
I've always thought if there was ever a Robin on the cartoon, that he would essentially look exactly the same as Batman, but he'd just have like a R or something instead of a B, or instead of a bat. Instead of a big B that says B for Batman.
B for Batman.
I don't know.
Yep.
I read Doomsday Clock finally.
Hey, you want to talk Doomsday Clock number 8?
Yeah, nice. Except I don't remember anything that happened in it, so you'll have to remind me.
I'll have to remind you. I've read it like 2 or 3 times now, actually.
Okay.
So it was Firestorm loses control.
Yep. Okay. Yep. I remember everything now.
Yeah, he goes to really good, and like we've had hints throughout the series of Firestorm. I had a feeling that before the series was over, Firestorm was going to do something stupid. I kind of saw that coming.
Did you expect him to like be Dr. Manhattan though?
Do you think he is actually Dr. Manhattan? Because he does lose control, and then this blue light erupts from that, and it does make it seem like he is.
That's
Dr.
what
Manhattan.
I was thinking. Was
yeah.
Because it's the same like super bright white blue light that they do whenever Dr. Manhattan does something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. And that was definitely something to do with Manhattan, but that doesn't
maybe
make
he's
sense
just
for Manhattan.
Maybe he's not been Firestorm, but he's like he just exploded Firestorm in order to come back to this plane or something. I don't know.
It's possible. We'll definitely see some connection because like Dr. Manhattan and Firestorm's power levels are so similar.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the Superman theory is like these nuclear powered characters have been kind of sprouting up, or if not that, like just government sanctioned superheroes.
Yeah.
And we do see a little bit more of that coming to light. Like in the past issues, you see stuff like the death of Typhoon, who is that supervillain who gets killed. I forget who kills. The comedian kills him, right?
Sure.
In that warehouse, maybe. Well, he dies, and then at the end, in all the backup material, you see like all of Amanda Waller's files about him and stuff, and you see other characters that are part of the Superman theory, like the Creeper and Giganta. And you see the two of them in Kondak in issue 8 when Superman goes there to talk to Black Adam.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a really cool scene when he's acting like as a diplomat and he and Black Adam just shake hands, and it's a very uncomfortable truce, but still there was a lot of cool mutual respect between them.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been like sort of reading the new, like, original handful of New 52 Justice League volumes lately, and so
like
I've
Forever
also,
Evil.
Yeah, well, so I've also been in the middle of like they're fighting. You can't go to Kondak because it's like not your place to go, and then that's also happening here.
Mm-hmm.
There
really hasn't been much between that and this with Black Adam, so it's kind of the next time we've seen.
There's not often that a comic book makes me like actually like go, oh God, or whatever, like be upset. But this one did. There was like,
and this was those kids. Like he turns a bunch of people into
they're glass.
Salt.
Yeah,
glass. Yeah, it was glass.
But yeah, the like, because usually I don't know. This scene, the scene when Wally West comes back in the Rebirth special a couple years ago, and a couple others like times have been the only times that I've like been reading and actually like felt emotions really, like, other than just absorbing information. But so like, because that was cool, because usually I would think, if it's like a movie or a cartoon series or something, it has like actors portraying these characters, it has music in the background, it has all this stuff, you can see it happening, whereas these are just still pictures, and you're imagining the voices, you're imagining everything. And the fact that it can still make me go like, oh, Jesus Christ, like they're killing those people is a testament to how well it was done, I guess. So.
It really was, yeah. And it was kind of like the perfect political situation too, because everyone had to like really tiptoe around that situation. The Russians had their own superhero team. You see Putin there giving a speech. Vladimir Putin's talking to everyone about
it's
what
actually
happened, Firestorm and everything. Yeah, and then Superman goes there, tries to be like, it's cool, we're gonna fix these people, we have a way, just let us try. And as soon as Firestorm gets there, everyone's like, nope.
We need to start like a conspiracy theory website on like, is DC Comics like controlling the government or something? Because like there's like really coincidental parallels between like Firestorm accidentally turning all the refugees into glass or whatever, but and with the like kids being separated from their parents at the border and stuff that's happening. But like that, they probably planned out this Doomsday Clock story years ago or months ago, and this somehow is happening right at the same time, so it's obviously they know they've been controlling everything from the start.
I'd say over the end of 2016, early 2017 is probably when Jeff Johns really jotted down his ideas, and it was definitely a response to what's going on in America, for sure. Yeah, anyway. I thought this was like one of the best Superman comics I've read in a while. Like just following Superman as this sort of global diplomat that he is. That was a really, really cool way. I mean, that's Superman ultimately. He's the one
seeing
person
the mix
in the world
of
that
people
everyone
that
trusts.
are the mix of like, oh, we really love you, Superman. Thank God you're here, and like, oh no, Superman, get the hell out. We don't want you. So,
that final scene where Batman's in the Batwing and he's trying to fly over to Superman. He's telling him, like, don't do it. Don't say what you're saying. Just don't say it. And he does, and it goes so badly. The tension in that scene was amazing.
Page turning.
It was an incredible issue.
Yeah. There was a guy that comments on the last episode of this podcast that was like, please keep the political stuff out of it. So
I can't help it.
Sorry. We got some letters from people, so I'm gonna bring those up real quick.
Cool.
These are comments on the last podcast episode. that I didn't really answer. One of them says, is from Thomas Parker. So I love this channel, and I may have an idea for a video. Why was Wonder Woman never given her own series? I mean, we don't really have an answer for that, I guess, but I thought it would be interesting to talk about briefly. Because she's the only
Susan
one of
Eisenberg would definitely do it.
Yeah, she's definitely into it. When we were interviewing her, she was, oh yeah, do that, please.
And we saw enough of her Rogues Gallery in Justice League, where we, the Cheetah and Ares and Circe, Lord Hades, a lot of the Greek gods too. So her world was explored pretty well in Justice League. But
and they also, like, I don't know, the Batman and Superman cartoons, like, fill that gap, that time on the timeline, and then Wonder Woman doesn't come in until Justice League. So she, she has no real story to explore prior to that. So if they ever did do one in the DCAU, it'd have to just be, like, either during Justice League somehow, and then they would just mess up continuity so bad, or have it be like right after JLU or something like that. I don't know.
I could be wrong, but I feel like the rights to Wonder Woman might have been tied up during the beginning of the DCAU, which is why they went with Barda for Batman Beyond. When they did the call. I don't know the details exactly.
I don't think it's ever been explained. I think Paul Dini just said, like, we couldn't do it, so we did Barda instead. But,
so they just couldn't give her a show then. But if they were to give her one now, I would personally like to see Wonder Woman team up with Argus. That was established in Batman Harley Quinn, like with Sarge Steel.
That's a pretty normal thing for her now.
Yeah, she operates with like those sorts of and like Steve Trevor was part of Argus doing the New 52 stuff.
Yeah, they would have to do something different with Steve Trevor.
Or maybe he's got like a grandson or something named Steve Trevor.
Or he's got the he has like a fake second life where he's at an old folks home, but he's actually like the director of Argus or something.
In the Wonder Woman comics by Gail Simone, she had Wonder Woman and Nemesis start a relationship. The Nemesis from Justice League Unlimited, he was a hero. His name's Tom Tresser. So he was basically like a Steve Trevor surrogate. For all intents and purposes.
I think a Wonder Woman animated series would have been like the most successful if you did it like as the movie was coming out or something. But maybe they weren't expecting it to do as well as it did, so maybe if they do Wonder Woman 84 and then also do, I don't know, it'd just be a good time, like a better, and they could put it on the DC Universe app if they wanted to.
It would be cool to run for, even if it was like a little mini series or like just one season sort of thing. Like, there's definitely potential there. If you're listening, DC, we've got a pitch for you. Just ask.
Yeah. This comment is not actually one I wanted to talk about, but this is from Godzilla 00X. Will you guys be marathoning the Mindy Project to get hyped for the new Zaz? And I said no, but it was like, it's because last time we were talking about how Zaz is going to be in Birds of Prey.
He in the Mindy Project?
Yeah, I guess so. The actor that plays him, and But so I screenshot this
one tally mark for every
I took a screenshot of this comment because I realized after I said it that I called him Charles Victor Zaz in the podcast episode. Really, his name is just Victor Zaz, and Charles Victor Zaz is the question.
Yes,
but I've thought this for a long time. Is like,
but the question's Vic Sage too.
Yeah, well, that's like his like. Oh, I use this pen name Vic Sage because it's easier to spell or something. But like, if you look at questions like Wikipedia entry or whatever, why is his last name the same as? Why is he also Victor Zaz? But
you think they're brothers?
But his Zaz is like SZASZ and Zaz is like ZSASZ. Like what? Who did this and why? Like Steve Ditko, tell me what's going on. I don't know. I don't get it.
It's a Spider-Verse thing.
Yeah, I guess so. Steve Ditko was on Spider-Man. Miles Morales' dad's list of contacts on his phone. That was an Easter egg in the movie that I caught. Anyway.
Nice. Oh yeah, I noticed that too. Actually,
he was like flipping.
Along with Brian Bendis. Brian Bendis was.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that was something that's always bothered me. Okay, and then this last one is from Wilsonator. This was actually on today's Vanishing Point episode. It says, I have a question. You know the way we want a jail reunion and Batman is off limits to the Arrowverse? How would everyone feel if we got another Elseworlds type story in the Arrowverse, but with the voice cast playing live action parts of their DCAU characters? Have it set in the future. That way, instead of Batman, we could have Project Batman Beyond, and then have Kevin Conroy play a live action version of Old Man Bruce. Easy enough costume. I think that could at least solve the Batman Arrowverse solution for a bit, and give leeway to green lighting jail reunion. That'd be kind of cool, I guess. I don't think they'll do it.
You never know. Michael Rosenbaum, I think, is the most likely person to appear in a CW thing, just because
and
he's Lex
some Flash references or something.
Or he could play Lex at some point easily.
Yeah, he could play. He could do Lex again, but then he could also like have an interaction with the Flash that or maybe even with Wally or something, where he makes some sort of quip about something.
Maybe he is Wally. He could be Wally from another world.
Yeah, he could be both. Yeah.
So I think he's most likely. Phil Lamar would be awesome to have as Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
That'd be so much fun to see.
He'd be using his big chest voice and everything too. They're supposed to be something. I don't know. I just wanted to say the supposed thing. Kevin Conroy as an old Bruce Wayne would of course work pretty well.
I still want to see Michael Keaton play him in a Batman Beyond live action movie.
Kevin Conroy's not like old enough to be old Bruce Wayne, but he's wrinkly enough to pull it off. I think.
True.
Let's see. Yeah, Susan could wear a black wig, be Wonder Woman. Carl Lumbly has been John Jones's dad already on Supergirl.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah, Maria Canals could pull off. They could all pull off their characters pretty well. They might need a little bit of like flat 90s Flash muscle suits, but, but
it could work. That's not a bad idea. Or maybe they provide the voices in the actual it's like the CW people interact with cartoons, like Roger Rabbit stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the like in the same way as how everyone wants Teen Titans to come back, and now they're just doing a Teen Titans Go versus Teen Titans. They're like, no, that's not what I wanted. They'll just put the Justice League cartoon Justice League in the Arrowverse. And you're like, that's not what
I wanted either.
I don't get it. Just you wanted these characters. That's it. Anyway, that's the end of the episode.
That's it. It's been a good one.
Yeah, I had fun. I don't know about you. Talk about Aquaman. I had fun watching Aquaman.
I had fun watching Amber Heard.
Yeah, that was the best part. So this show, it's out every other Monday on the Watchtower Database YouTube channel and iTunes. You can @ us to say things, DCAU Watchtower, and maybe we'll read them on the show and talk about them like we just did for the last couple minutes. Yeah, or you could email us at info@watchtowerdatabase.com. No one ever chooses that option, but it's still there.
Email is like writing a letter to the dinosaurs.
Yeah, email's stupid. It's all Twitter now. Tumblr or something.
Not Tumblr.
No, it's just Tumblr. That's all we got. So hopefully it still sticks around for a long time. What else do I say at the end here? I'd like to thank Adam Mullen for writing the music to the opening of this. He writes the intro music to all the stuff we do. I'd also like to thank myself for being so cool, and
I'd like to thank myself too.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give myself a nice pat on the back.
Yeah, what does that sound like?
I just did that.
I couldn't
it sounds
hear
like.
Thank you.
It actually sounded like I hurt.
Yeah.
It didn't hurt that much.
Wow. What else is there? We're on Patreon. Patreon.com/DCAU Watchtower. If you want to give us your coffee money today, you also
get all the get videos early.
Yeah, you can see early videos. You can vote for what video you want next month. You still have
and you should vote, not to get political or anything. But
yeah,
vote
today. If you're listening to this, the day it comes out on the 31st.
Happy New Year's!
Oh yeah!
Happy New Year's.
I completely forgot about that. Yeah, it'll
Happy
be.
New Year's.
This is the last day of 2018. But
this is the last episode we're ever gonna do in 2018.
Oh no. It'll be a whole calendar year before we do another one.
A whole nother year.
Yeah. If you're listening to this on Monday,
Happy New Year!
Shut up. If you're listening to this on Monday, I'm sorry for your ears just now for me shouting. But you still have one more day to go to Patreon and vote for January's video. So hurry up and do that.
What's it gonna be?
You can also
Susan Eisenberg casting call? No.
That is one of the options. Susan Eisenberg casting call, Batman and Harley Quinn, Will It Canon, Batman Adventures Volume 2 timeline. Those are the options to vote for. You can also, oh my god, what is the actual web address? teespring.com/stores/DCAU Watchtower. That's where you can find t-shirts and phone cases, all sorts of cool merchandise. There's t-shirts.
You want a Watchtower Database t-shirt?
Yeah, there's a Watchtower Database
with a big awkward
logo.
white oval behind the logo.
Yeah.
Why is there a white oval? Can we just do one without the white?
Know.
Let's do that.
There's a Maddie head. There's a why was there a yellow batsuit and star-crossed you madman shirt. There's a keep epilogue a secret shirt.
That's a good
There's an egg baby sound effect shirt. There's all sorts of stuff. Just go look at it. teespring.com/stores/DCAU Watchtower. Did I say that enough?
I don't think
stores/DCAU Watchtower.
Stores ZSAZS?
Yes, SZ
Stores
STORES.
Victor's Stores.
Yeah. Charles Victor Stores /DCAU.
Did you see our Yulog video? Was fun.
Yeah,
we go into
watch the
origin story of Randall Savage.
Yeah, it's hidden in there somewhere.
We're curious.
That was a pretty good one. We've also, let's see, the next Sunday video that's coming up will be pretty fun. I don't want to say what it is, but you will enjoy it. That's all.
There's a New Year's episode of Trivia Tuesdays coming out tomorrow. Because Happy New Year!
Oh yeah, Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
See ya in 2019.
That's a good year for the DCAU.
Or a bad, terrible year.
We'll find out next time.
We'll find out. Okay, that's it.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Wait, watchtowerdatabase.com.